Radio Zero.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose at the end of 2021. 2022. 2020.
Sorry.
2020 hindsight.
Sorry about that fade. Wasn't very professional.
Which fade?
The one I just did.
Oh.
You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, RadioZero.us, Google Podcasts, podcasting platforms. I drank some fizzy water. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to burp really loudly.
I know how to control my burps. We're live streaming on Facebook on the Radio Zero page and Poster Children page, on Twitch at PCJCUSA, and on the Poster Children YouTube channel. You can patronize us at patreon.com/Radio Zero. Thank you for everyone who is currently patronizing us. All right.
Yeah. I just realized I forgot to put on my makeup today, so my apologies. It's very unprofessional of me. That's all I have to say. I have it's now like the left side of my face is feels like is in horrible pain right now.
Why is that?
It's like
what does that have to do with makeup?
I have a toothache.
Oh.
I have a cracked tooth, and I don't know, a couple of months ago, 6 months ago or something, when I went to the dentist, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's gonna start hurting you at some point." So it's always over the holidays that something's going to start hurting you. So it started killing yesterday. It started killing a couple of days ago, and I've just been, and my foot also hurts and stuff. So I've been actually taking medicine. I've been actually taking Advil, and I'm just taking tons and tons of Advil, and it's not, it still hurts now.
I was going to ask, why didn't they fix your tooth back then? But it's because they can't, right? Probably for the insurance, right? You have to wait until you're actually
I don't know.
in pain to replace a tooth.
Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know. There's all those big box tooth, Aspen Dental. It's not a sponsor, but the place that's attached to the Einstein Bagels, also not a sponsor. It's $4.99 for a checkup.
But yeah, you're the daughter of a dentist. That's like in what's Eating Gilbert Grape. Not that I want to support anything that Johnny Depp has done.
Not a sponsor.
Where he's working at the small town mom and pop grocery store, and then the guy who runs the grocery store is sitting outside the grocery store one day, just looking at it, trying to understand what's happening economically, and then he sees Johnny Depp walk out of the grocery store, and it's tragic.
I don't know if I
liked a betrayal.
I don't know if I liked that movie. I don't remember why. But the thing is, I don't think my dad would care. I actually don't. And my tooth hurts. I don't. This is terrible. Yesterday I was actually putting hot salt water on my tooth, to stop it from hurting. But the other thing is that the upper jaw hurts too. Last night my upper jaw was hurting. So how I have a crack in the back left part or right part of my heel, and the other part of my foot hurts, and the oncologist said, he had a name for that. That's transference pain or something. I don't remember what it was kind of the transitive property or something of pain. I didn't ask him to elaborate, because I asked him to elaborate on other stuff.
Well, first off, you're getting foot advice from your
that dude
oncologist.
He knows everything, man.
Yeah.
He's totally, he knows everything. You've sat with him before. He's awesome.
Well, he's a doctor.
Dr. Migas, a sponsor of my boob. Not of the program, but of my boob. Sorry, go on.
You compensate for, isn't it just pain because you're compensating for other pain? Is that what it is?
No, I don't know.
It's something more complicated than that?
I can even text him and ask him, but I won't do it. I would like to know myself.
But what did your podiatrist say?
Oh, he said, never mind what he said. He said to stay, if it hurts, stay off of it.
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
Don't
so
do
this is the problem, is my oncologist is my foot doctor now, because he tells me things that don't interfere with what I want to do, right? And the podiatrist.
Oh, he may have said to stop also. I don't remember. It's actually not hurting. It's funny because it stopped hurting when I started I have my foot under control. It's my tooth that's not under control.
Why'd you bring up the foot then?
Because of the idea of the transitive property of pain. I hope somebody, I don't know. All right.
So you're saying because your foot hurt, now your tooth is hurting?
No, because my lower jaw was hurting, then my upper jaw was hurting, and now my ear hurts a little, and then I've got like a swollen gland. So now, last time I had a really bad toothache, it was an ear infection. Remember that?
So maybe you have an ear infection.
I know. Who knows? It'll be very exciting to find out what the hell's the matter with me. All right. So but anyway, that's why I'm a little out of sorts today. I'm starting to have an excuse for just being myself now, like a lot of other people.
Yeah, exactly.
And not me today.
I'm a little out of sorts. And it's
it's because my tooth hurts.
Does she say that all the time?
Yeah, exactly. I know people who do that.
If she's out of sorts.
I know people who do that. All right.
Every time I see her, maybe that's just the way she is.
I know people like this.
That's not even out of sorts. That's just normal.
When am I going to know if this chain that you found somewhere is going to turn my neck green? Okay.
I'm right about what your mom would say about a cheap necklace.
Oh, it has turned our son's neck green already.
Really? The one that he just got?
Yeah. Oh, it's itchy. Oh, no, not the one that this is the one that I think you found. I think he's trying to abandon it. So we've been cleaning. What do we call him? Pink eye.
Pink eye. Yeah, not good.
We've been cleaning our second child's,
Number
two's room.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
It's a little bit of a prisoner reference, but it's also a poop reference.
Yeah. Anyway,
I never made
cleaning.
that connection.
So this is like the 13-year-old room cleaning, where like I'm not a baby anymore. I don't need this shit, So what do we do with all the baby books? So and like real expensive baby books that people got, like the Faden, like stuff that you get for birthday, and then all the plastics that you get for birthday presents and for like Christmas presents and stuff.
It's interesting. The book was called, what was it called? First Biology Book? It wasn't called My First Biology Book. It was just called First Biology Book. But that's because that's the British publisher, right? They just say things different.
Yeah, maybe.
Whereas in our country, we say My First.
Yeah, because it's ours. Ours, this is America.
Right.
This is America.
The individual.
I'm in with the kids now because I made a reference to a hip hop song. This is America.
Hip hop's a new trend.
Yeah.
New thing.
Anyway, so like the one thing that was the hardest to throw away were like the fake Lego things. They're like fake, and they're like, they take batteries because they move or something, but they're shoddily kind of like they just don't stay together very well because they're not they're off brand and stuff. And it's like,
I have a set of those. I have a set of Google Legos. So when I got some Google phone years ago, and I use it as you could build it into a stand for your new phone, your Google phone, whatever era that was. And so I have it, but every time I knock into it or bump it or something, it falls apart. And I get mad, but I still have it because I feel like it's slightly collectible. It's not like a Lego, but it's a Google Lego.
Yeah, I'd probably keep that. I'd err on the side of keeping that.
Oh yeah, I've still got the box.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is we've often we have had a New Year's party. And then we didn't have it for 2 years. Is that right? Because of COVID?
Yeah.
And so what that means is that at least there was a yearly kind of deep clean that I would do on the house. And unfortunately, what that means is that it's been 3 years since I've done a major cleaning of the house. And so it's upsetting. But we're getting through stuff, and we're getting a lot, we're getting rid of stuff, I think. And this year, we're going to have to do the garage sale, the community garage sale. I feel like we said that in the last episode, too.
Well, we threw out a bunch of,
we've got tons of stuff that we can put out. We can have a really good garage sale this year, I think. Yes.
Okay, good.
We just have to
Is it
make
like
the
music
commitment
stuff?
to spend like a week to go through the attic and go through all these toys and all this stuff and spend that time in the spring right before.
So you know what I have saved from us is when we all went to Niagara Falls, and we went on the hurricane shelf or whatever it was called. We went and we all got special. It cost probably $50 a person to go on the hurricane shelf, and it was amazing. But we all got special sandals for going on the flip-flops. And you know what?
Disposable
flip-flops. I saved them.
Well, they're
sure
in the
some family
shoe
will
cabinet,
want,
right? In the
they're upstairs.
some of them were in the shoe cabinet.
No, there's
really
some others.
You have 4 of them, 4 pairs.
Sure, and some family's going to want that.
Well,
Think of all that. No, I'm saying there's like so much stuff. You know. Okay, purses.
There's a Rivian slow driving down the street.
Really? Are they gonna? Are they? Is
I'm
it
just
like
trying to figure out what they're up to.
Like a drive-by.
Oh no, it's not a Rivian. Sorry, I thought it was. It's just some work person
their pickup
connecting
truck.
to their using their pickup.
So purses, you can buy lots of purses, and people. That's something you can't sell. Nobody wants to buy a used purse.
Really?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to buy purses anymore.
Nobody wants. No. Nobody wants to buy a used purse. I'm trying to think of some other. Like, there's things that I have that I know I can sell. Like anything from Athleta, I can sell on Poshmark. Mm-hmm. But anyway, That and we threw away a keyboard, like not a piano keyboard, but a computer keyboard. Oh. We threw away his first computer keyboard.
My first computer keyboard.
Was it yours?
No. I'm just saying. Oh yeah, like my first children's.
Yeah. That's so
it was all gummed up and stuff.
L. Spencer Dace says footsie heart. Happy New Year's, Rick Valentin and Rose Valentin. There's a rose and 2 more hearts.
I went to grade school with Spencer.
Wow. Well, hello, Spencer. That's cool. All right. And our usual suspects are not there. They must be celebrating December 30th or cleaning their houses too.
They're not at work.
Yeah.
Right? They're not slacking at work.
Yeah.
They're doing stuff.
Yeah. So okay. So what else?
Did I not post I think I posted an event.
Oh yeah, I saw a bunch of people hearted it and stuff.
Great.
It doesn't matter. I think this is got to be the longest running podcast ever. And if it's
that took 12 minutes this time for you to say that.
You don't believe it?
No, it's just that you say it all the time. Anyways, I'm
trying to brand stuff, and I'm trying to be proud of the things that we've done.
Right.
The yoga instructor actually yesterday when I was sitting, I found a new yoga place that I actually can go to because it's like 3.3 miles away from here. And he said, you should be proud of the things that you've done. That was his thing that he said at the end of the class.
Was he talking to you or was he just talking in general?
Talking to everybody. You should
what's
be
the point
proud
then?
of the things that they've done.
So everybody's done great things?
Yeah. You should be proud of the good things that you've done. It was great, instead of the other type of workout that I get, which is you should be very ashamed of the things that you've done. Anyway, so you should be proud of the things you've done, Rick.
Yeah, I know I'm supposed to, but it's
we're supposed to.
Something I'm not good at.
So I know. Well, don't
something.
When I try to do the proudness thing, then don't unproud me.
All right, I won't.
We should be proud of our podcast. Okay, what do you? Maybe we shouldn't. What do you got here?
Should we talk about? Oh, there's also actually I found a list of things to talk about.
Good.
I think we've already forgotten that a week ago it was very, very cold.
It was what was the lowest? -15?
I don't know. It was really cold. It was cold enough.
-13, like not the wind chill.
For me to spend a day trying to get the generator working.
Yeah.
So I really worked out. I was just going.
See, that's something you should be proud of.
And so I did that a bunch of times. I tinkered with it. What did I do? I drained. Yeah, I looked. I did quite a bit of stuff. I almost got a new spark plug, but I wasn't. I was like, no, I'm not getting a new spark plug. This happened before, and then I just dragged it into the mud room. I did
of
not.
The house. Yeah.
Did I? Yeah, no, I put it to the side of the house when I did this. That's right. And then like 2 hours later, I went back and pulled the ripcord and it just started. So, and then I moved it into the mudroom, but not while it was running.
Right.
I just want to let you all know I don't run the generator
in the house
or in the mudroom.
I
keep it in the
smell it.
mudroom just
Yeah.
in case there's a huge amount of snow, and then I can roll it out onto the back steps and run it, as opposed to keeping it in the garage and then having to drag it through snow to the back. Oh, I could put it underneath the porch. But I paid
yeah, you should do that.
I don't know. I paid a lot of money for it.
Oh, somebody will steal it. Can you
I don't
lock
know.
it?
Yeah, maybe.
Is it,
Now that I've said it on air here,
Radio Zero.
what's going to happen is
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it down there, and then like when I need the generator, I'm gonna go and look, and it's gonna be gone. It's the kind of thing where I won't notice for 6 months.
April.
Like when we lost the spare tire on our van.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that sucked. Yeah.
We parked our van at the O'Hare long-term parking during a short European tour, and then got back, got into the van, went on tour, and then somewhere during the tour, I realized that we didn't have a spare tire anymore. It was mounted underneath the van, and I realized, they probably got it while we were in long-term parking. So we drove for like a month without a spare tire.
Yeah. 16 minutes before you brought that story.
What, I bring that up all the time?
No, I'm just
That's the
kidding.
story I bring up?
I'm kidding.
Really?
April Smith says, and we appreciate it. I think it's the podcast she's talking about.
Yeah.
Hello from Oklahoma. And Vinmar says, what's a little carbon monoxide?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can't smell it. It's not a problem.
Oh, Tim Bauer says, greetings from Paris, Texas. And then he wrote,
What?
not really. He said
No.
Paris, and then he's got in parentheses Texas, and then not really. Funny thing about Paris, Texas, we're driving, Dow and I are driving, our hour to Champaign and/or back, and he was playing something that he's like, listen to this, and I'm like, oh, that reminds me of the Paris, Texas soundtrack, and I'm like, you have to play that next, and he's like, okay, and he's like, how do I look up Paris, Texas? Look up Ry Cooder. And then I'm like, I'm asking my child to look up Ry Cooder. But he looked it up, and then we were listening to it a little bit. You get like one or two songs you can find on Apple Music or whatever we were looking at. And he goes, what is the movie about? Should I watch it? And I was like,
I think you would find it boring.
it's about a sad man.
Who has abandoned his family, right?
Yeah, right. He abandoned his family.
Right, yeah, he leaves, right?
Yeah.
Boy, we're going to have to watch that again.
I like the music, though.
It's a beautiful movie.
I like the movie, too.
What's his name, right?
Wim Wenders.
Wim Wenders, cinematographer, right? Who also did what's his name? When what's his name started filming in color. Oh my God, Jim Jarmusch movies, right?
Jim Jarmusch.
Is it Robbie Mueller?
You
Was the
need to know-
cinematographer on Paris, Texas?
Who
Look
was
that up
the
for me, IMDb.
cinematographer for The Godfather for Paris, Texas. Paris, Texas movie.
Oh, the cinematographer.
Robbie Mueller, good job.
Robbie Mueller, yeah. I'm into cinematographers now. Screw directors.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you.
What's his name? Gordon? No. Oh, who's the cinematographer of the frickin' Godfather?
Dude.
I want to say Gordon Parks, but that's a director. Gordon Parks. Not,
Who?
No, don't.
Watch-
Don't.
I won't
Crap!
tell
I can't
you.
remember his name. It's a G name. I can't remember his name.
It comes up like it comes up. It's an autocomplete when you write who was the cinematographer for.
He shot stuff really dark.
You're right. That starts with a G.
And I can't remember his name.
Gore.
Is it a Gordon? Is he a
Uh-huh.
Gordon also?
It is a Gordon.
Crap. I can't remember.
Willis.
Wills.
Wills.
Willis? Is it Willis? It's Wills, right?
Gordon Willis.
Willis.
According to
Gordon
whatever
Willis.
I'm on.
That doesn't sound right.
Okay, so let's see. There's some more. Tim Bauer says Mania, the Hands of Fate, or Manos.
Manos, the Hands of Fate. Wait a minute. Who?
Hey, now you know what Manos is, right? Do you have that on your on your Duolingo?
No,
Not a sponsor.
Not yet.
Danny Ingram says out with family, but wanted to drop in and say happy Goy New Year. Do you see that? Can you see that? I have a Christmas tree behind me.
So, anyways, Yeah. And then we had, I mean, so
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it was a record high yesterday for us, was it? But there's got to be some
59 degrees yesterday.
Some kind of record between high and low, right?
Yeah.
Within a week?
Yeah.
Is there a record for that? That's
Yeah.
what I want to know.
It had to be like, so between negative, I'd say 15 and almost 60, that's 75 degrees. No, that's 65 degrees, right? Negative 15. No, it's 75 degrees. There was a 75 degree shift in the weather over the last week, but I'm sure that's nothing.
It's frustrating me because it's starting to affect me directly.
Well, because
my studio space, I
Oh.
try to control the humidity in there, and so I have a humidifier during the winter, and I have a dehumidifier, and they're both in there. Yeah. I guess what I should do is I should have both. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have both on. So, because you can't have both on, because what'll happen is that
they'll cancel each other out.
They'll both be running at the same time. It'll create some kind of circular vortex and
polar vortex.
Yeah, my studio space will explode.
But
a vicious cycle. But yeah, right now the humidifier is off in there. But I feel like it. Yeah, I don't know. It's really irritating.
Well, it's going to stay in the 40s, like around the 40s,
Good.
like it normally does. Tim Bowers here says 64 degrees Fahrenheit in Stuttgart tomorrow, record high by 5 degrees Fahrenheit if it happens. All right, very good. David Kuzmanoff says Coppola. Okay. Don't even get us started on Francis
I know
Ford
who directed
Coppola.
it. I was talking about, Gordon Willis. Okay, yeah, it is Gordon. See, when I say Gordon Willis now, it makes sense. Before it didn't sound right, but now it sounds right.
That's because your brain. Okay, so this will be like the longest running podcast there. I said it again. Will be like, it'll be something people can research.
And what's amazing about it is it feels like it. As you listen, you feel like, wow. This podcast feels like it's going on forever.
All right, so no, but it'll be like it'll be two people descending into
dementia.
Dementia. There you go. Yeah,
it will be important. It will be an important document in about 40 years. People will be analyzing
90s.
this.
Okay.
As we
All right,
slowly
what else?
disappear.
Can I talk about my class? Can I complain about my students? They're not going to be listening. They're going to be busy working on their... Okay, I'm teaching a class which is 16 weeks. Like, normally I teach 16 weeks, this computer programming class for artists. Computer programming for artists. And over the
Get
winter
out your
session...
pencils. There's going to be a quiz.
Over the winter session, it is compressed into 4 weeks. And
so how many weeks per week?
Yeah, you decide. It's 4 weeks per week. So pretty much 1 week per day. So 2 classes per day, and then give them 3 days off in the week. That's what it kind of was figuring to do. So I've been making these videos for my poor students. And the thing is, like, I was like, oh, like the first day that it started like the Saturday after graduation. Like, it was like that time when you're like, that's it. I'm done grading. It started 2 days before our grades were due even. And I was like, oh my God, why did I do this? And then I was like, I get to teach all this stuff again. And I knew exactly why I was doing it. I'm like, it's like been the highlight of my winter. It's like when any of the students like contacts me, I'm like, what problem do you have? Let me solve it for you. Let me empower you to program and stuff. So that's been really great. But a couple, like so this is an asynchronous class. So what is an asynchronous online? So what is required of the students is to watch these videos that I've been making. So that, I don't know if I'd want to do that. I probably wouldn't want to do it. So that's the thing. Like at the beginning was to try to first you got to send them an email to tell them to watch the videos, which they don't read their email anyway, right? And then try to get them to watch the videos. So it's like, because the whole class is comprised of these videos, and where I just tell you exactly what to do. You can pause it. Like, I'll be like, okay, what do you think you do next? Pause it and see. So you can pause it and try to work on your own, or you can just not pause it and just get the answer from me. I'm like trying to teach coding the way I kind of learned it. at Frasca, right? So
You learned how to code before that.
yeah, I learned how to code before that, but like my first job, I feel like I learned a lot on the job.
Well, yeah,
So,
but
anyway, so I can tell, like when students contact me for help, I can tell, like it's real obvious to tell which part of the videos they didn't watch, because they're not going to watch the whole video because it's like 20 minutes. Or there was like a couple that were 30 minutes long, and I've been editing them all too, like and cutting out like breaks and stuff like that. But man, you can totally tell. It's like your kid walks in the door and their eyes are bloodshot red, and they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And you're like, "Oh, my child is high." It's just like, it's like real, like obvious, like they don't think it's obvious, but and then so it's that's been kind of funny but sad, because when they contact me and they're like distraught, like I can't do this. And then like especially like one of the emails was just like, it's 2 weeks and I haven't started yet because I read everything. I've never done this type of thing before, and none of the students have ever programmed before, but like I've read everything and I've looked at all the examples and I just don't even know where to start. And I'm like, did you watch the videos? Because there's nothing to read except the email telling you to watch the video. So, like, I don't know what they read. Like,
maybe the automatic captions.
I don't even know. And then the email came back, was like, well, I watched part of the first one, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't you watch part of it again, rewatch it again, and see what, and then contact me and let me know which parts you don't understand. And like a couple of hours later, I just get this text. This is awesome. Look at my first project. Like,
all the answers are here.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, that's part of, that was what I learned years ago when I went to that conference or whatever, and people talk about online. And it's just like the first week is, so unfortunately you've only got a 4-week class, but the first week is basically you have to fail everyone because they didn't watch the videos.
Yeah.
And then they start watching the videos. It's all about making sure you can't be nice and let them not watch the videos. It's like if the videos have all the course content, you have to do something to scare them into watching them.
Yeah.
There's no easy way to do it other than just, oh, you didn't do the video? Oh, 0. Watch the video. Turn it in again. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll watch the video.
And also like, I don't want to say, hey, you obviously didn't watch the video. So like, I'm always like, hey, why don't you try rewatching the video, like, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I guess I could pay a little bit closer attention this time, and like,
I say review the video.
Oh, review the video. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Instead of rewatch the video. So that's my little complaint, but man, you should see some of the stuff the students are doing is amazing. It's really, really cool. Yeah, I'm very impressed. I'm just, wow, and then it's like, I don't know how irritating it is to you guys when like somebody like texts me like at 11 p.m. and I'm like, oh, what's the problem? Do you want to Zoom? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, it's 11 p.m. and I'm like, hey, how's it going? I've gotten to meet like students that are not even in, our program are taking the class.
Yeah.
So it's really, so this is like the highlight. We've had some great, I feel like I've been having a really good, winter break.
Great.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. So, okay, what do you got? What's on your list?
Well, we did the weather. Who was it that always said when this is old days talk, when they were talking
people talk about the weather.
No.
Oh, about hurting, things that hurt them.
Whenever they were talking on the phone, if they started talking about the weather, then they were like, okay, bye. It was like a rule they had.
I would never last a minute with that person because that's all I talk about.
What about Elon Musk and the Glass Onion movie? Any thoughts, just in general?
Why don't you talk about it? We watched it. I know that Derek King, our first son, was very excited to watch it.
So what I didn't realize is that Stephen Sondheim and Anthony Perkins wrote a murder mystery that takes place on a boat or an island, and that it was made into a movie. And so at the beginning of this Glass Onion movie, Daniel Craig, what's his name? Hercule Poirot. Southern Hercule Poirot is Poirot. I can't say it anymore. Is on a Zoom call with Angela Lansbury, Natasha Lyonne, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Stephen Sondheim. So 2 of those people are dead now. But and it was like, Stephen Sondheim, that's weird. Like, well, Kareem it turns out that it's a reference to the fact that Stephen Sondheim wrote a movie with Anthony Perkins, because they used to host murder mystery nights in the 70s.
Wow.
And I'm trying to remember who directed this movie. So now I got to watch this movie. Anyways, that's what I learned from watching the Glass Onion movie. But what was it? Oh yeah, it was like, what was the comment? Is like people were complaining that the character, Edward Norton's character, is a veiled reference to Elon Musk, and I'm like, what's veiled about it? It's like so blatant.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know. It was entertaining. No spoilers. There's no reason to talk about the details of the movie, but just talking about Elon Musk and the just what's going on. I don't know.
Is he doing bad things again?
He's just. I think it's these year-end reflections, sort of like he was kind of on the edge. I think he had already jumped the shark by the beginning of this year, right?
Oh,
but
wow, okay.
Maybe not. But now it seems like he's complete. Yeah, well, he's lost a lot of money. He's no longer the richest man in the world, and he's ruined Twitter, right? He hasn't ruined it, but he's mismanaged it, right? And so he's kind of dropped off. Even to the point where, like, Paul Krugman wrote an article about like whether or not Tesla can survive, which is strange to me, because I've always separated. Well, yeah, I understand how some of Tesla's success is based around Elon Musk and hype, but I feel like it's a more substantial company than just him.
When you decided
it's a whole infrastructure,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So that was what was weird to me. But I guess, yeah, the argument is well, no. Now all the major manufacturers are going to build, and the government's going to help subsidize electric charging networks. So yeah, but that's still, I don't know. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going with that.
I don't. Should I have more thoughts about Elon Musk and like
That's
all
the
these
thing.
people?
It's
I
like,
just don't like.
I didn't think I'm not interested in really rich people, and I don't really believe in. I mean, I've never believed in that idea of the individual genius, and so basically listening to this bullshit for the past 20 or 30 or 40 years of that, like the Silicon Valley. Even the name, like Tesla or Edison, right? These ideas of these people being, individuals.
The lone shooter.
Yeah, like individual geniuses. I mean, yeah, there are some people who are individually gifted, I guess, but like when it comes to like companies and anything, yeah, just me complaining about, it's like screw directors. It's like I'm done with that idea where it's like these cinematographers are great too, and it's like, oh
yeah, totally.
But also knowing that, the reason why Seconds by John Frankenheimer, like he fought with James Wong Howe to do all the crazy kind of psychedelic or what's the 1920s thing? Not surrealist, but anyways, the stuff that's in that movie. So James Wong Howe got kind of pushed. So, but that's a collaboration because, there are a lot of John Frankenheimer movies that are crap and look like crap too, that look like TV shows. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily always the best director.
Teamwork is key, you're saying.
Teamwork, yes,
right.
And collaborative work.
Yeah.
And so like if you worked, as a musician or as a coder, right? Which we did both of, right?
Yeah.
You realize that, it's not, I mean, there are leaders and there are people who are telling you what to do, or there are directors, but it's definitely a collaboration. And so that's the problem I have. Is like, these people are geniuses, and all they've done is they've gotten to the top of this ego mountain.
Right,
really,
right. So they're psychopaths or sociopaths. That's
or just
so I feel
lucky, and
Yeah.
I mean, they're smart and lucky and all those things, but also built on working with, exceptional people too.
April Smith here says the smartest thing Musk did was to buy the rights to use the Tesla name. I
Exactly.
agree. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Brilliant.
it's like he didn't found the company.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so then when people start talking about, well, what do you think about Elon Musk? I'm like, I don't think anything about him. I feel really bad. And then I don't know who this other guy is that Greta Thunberg said to recycle their pizza boxes. I don't even know who that is, who went to jail or something.
Oh, that's
what is that?
That's like some kind of alpha male, male man guy.
Well, what did he do? Why should I know who he is?
I think he's. I don't know much about him. I know the kids know who he is. The kids, our kids.
Yeah, our children.
He's from what I gather is he's like a super male kind of guy. Also, how to meet women kind of guy. I think.
Oh, okay.
And then
right.
I feel like it's that. And
jail?
then he's also. But yeah, now he's been accused of human trafficking.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate arrested by pizza box.
So here's the thing, though: is you can't recycle your pizza boxes. At least in our town, they always say they don't want cardboard that's been greased up.
They found him because, yeah, she jumped the shark in my. I agree. You can't recycle, but she was referring to like she had some sort of a Twitter argument with him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm sure.
So who was Andrew Tate?
Ugh.
Who was Andrew
Do we need? I mean,
Tate?
we barely knew who this person was, and now we're going to talk about
Oh,
him.
I'm looking at him right now. It's a misogynist influencer.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, I
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Misogynist influencer.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Toxic.
So why the hell should I care about this at all?
Well, these are. I mean, it's. I don't know who was famous 40 years ago. It's the same. It's that culture.
But this is history, and I'm not good at it.
It's not history.
Yeah, it's history.
Honestly, is it history?
Sociology.
I mean, what's history? Is that
history
there's a
now.
resurgence in white supremacy and a question. Yeah, so that's the thing is, I mean, historical. Yeah, so I talked about this already, right? The guy who did research on like anytime he sees something where people are saying something like people don't want to work anymore, and he just does research and it's like he found
People
references to people
right.
not wanting to do work anymore in newspapers from 100 years ago, right? Like that exact phrase, and like, oh, you can't make jokes anymore about comedy, how comedy is dead. All that's happened there over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Just finds evidence, and then what's the one? Oh, is that men and gender, but especially men are losing their masculinity. And the quote he had was like, men aren't tending their gardens anymore. They're sitting inside reading books. So like gardening
was masculine.
100 years ago was considered masculine, right? And now it's not.
One.
And so, it's like giving context for all of this discussion where it's just like, oh, yeah, like the definition of masculinity. Even the fact that frickin', what is it, in The Great Gatsby, he wears a pink shirt. And that's not demeaning of his masculinity. It's
right.
that pink was a masculine color until
well,
like
it's back again.
was
I
culturally considered a
Yeah.
masculine color at
Yeah.
that time.
April Smith says what they used to call a male chauvinist pig.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Male chauvinist pig.
Yeah.
What's his name? The battle of the sexes. That tennis match. What was that? Bobby Riggs versus Billie Jean King. I mean,
Yeah.
those things.
I guess I
happen
like
all
that.
the time.
Yeah, I guess I should pay more attention to this type of stuff. Okay, so what? All right, good. I'm glad that it wasn't somebody like a governor or something that I didn't know was a governor. It's
Who
just
got arrested?
No,
you mean, or
the whoever they're talking about on my Facebook feed.
Yeah. No, it's
a male chauvinist pig influencer.
Somebody who made a lot of money influencing, right? And
but also was doing trafficking or something like that, human trafficking.
Yeah,
like,
it's very questionable stuff going on with him.
All right. Well, let's move on because it's not going to affect us. I know this is terrible.
Well, it does affect. Yeah. So the thing is you're raising men. Young men, right? in this
well,
world.
at
But I
least
think
they know about the.
I think we're doing okay so far. But who knows?
Yeah. All right. What's next on the list?
Vivienne Westwood died. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah, I knew that. Yeah. And I know more about her from, well, I think I read the Great Rock or I read the
England's Dreaming or Lipstick Traces. Oh,
read
yeah.
both of them. Yeah, she's in, but also from like the Sex Pistols documentary and stuff. She became human on the screen to me.
Well, they gave her credit as being part of that creative group. Although I'm still a little bit, I'm still, pretty pro Richard Hell. The fact is that a lot of that punk rock fashion came from, Malcolm McLaren seeing, I think he saw television, right? When he was in New York managing the New York Dolls. So Richard Hell, Malcolm McLaren was
influenced by Richard Hell.
Was in the saw what was going on at CBGB's in 74 or 75. And if you think in terms of timeline, when what it was at Let It Rock, which was more kind of like rockabilly fashion, right? And then all of a sudden when it became Sex, the boutique, Vivienne Westwood's boutique in partnership with Malcolm McLaren, it was started veering. Well, no, but yeah, all the leather and bondage stuff is their stuff. That's and the safety pins and the torn clothes and the spiky hair. That's the Richard Hell stuff.
Well, yeah. Well.
Oh, but the Ramones were the leather jackets, I guess, too. So yeah, hard to say.
Not one genius.
Not one exactly.
Not one genius.
Exactly.
It's a collaborative effort.
As Brian Eno, who often tends to be treated like a genius, called it scenius, or he was talking about scenius, right? Scene genius, right?
Yeah.
And that idea that it's always these scenes where it's like these groups of people who are this stuff happens and it's not just one person.
We need to I think we're talking about sort of saying that collaboration is one of the outcomes of our program, right? One of the goals of our program is to teach people to collaborate better.
Yeah, I think that's the most poisonous thing that happens is when you have these genius stories, the lone genius or the head, the startup founder, is that it makes people think that that's the pathway to success. And it's a pathway, I guess, but the reality is that you can be part, and they were part of a community, right? And it wasn't just one person dragging 100 or 1,000 other people, up the hill.
Right.
It's a collaborative. Collaboration is essential I think, for success and for change and a creative process. So it's hard to say.
Vinmar, I missed saying that this is from back when we were talking about the influencer. Ignorance is bliss. This is just pop culture these days. So I want to be more in tune with pop culture. So I guess I will start rereading the New York Times.
But also that's monolithic, right? It's the same thing. It's that monolithic idea that there is one type of culture, and that's not true. You were just talking about how it was like, oh, you're telling your kid to look for a Ry Cooder soundtrack from Paris, Texas. And that's the thing is like when we were kids, right? It was all, there were kind of generational cultures, right? And you could differentiate. It's like, in fact, I remember I said I like the Beatles to someone, and they said the Beatles suck. Journey is cool, right? No. Yeah, not before
else.
you.
Yeah.
But it was like in 1978 or whatever, 79. It was stupid to like the Beatles because it was old. And nobody even remembers that or believes that, and it's like Wings. Oh, Wings would be okay, but like the Beatles, that's old music, right? And it was all about sort of these monolithic generational cultural kind of things, and that's not what it is now. So the thing is that if you're not into influencer culture, or your influencer is not a 30-year-old misogynist, then
sex trafficker, then that's okay.
Then
all
there's
right,
no reason for you to know about it. So you got to think about who's your
who's my
influencer, and you probably don't have an influencer.
You're my influencer, Rick.
Well, that's sad, but no, it's you're just not part of that culture, I guess, right?
Yeah. All right. So what else you got?
I had something else, I thought, but I now it looks like I don't.
Oh no.
Yeah, ran out of stuff here.
Well, we hung out. What about the Moldorama exhibit? What do you think about
let's
that?
talk about Moldorama, man.
So we had Hilton Points, not a sponsor. We had we had leftover, then they were going to expire. So we got a free stay in a Hilton in Chicago, and the one that you chose was so beautiful. I loved it.
Well, it's the one around the corner from Bag Boys, Bread Boys,
Dairy King's dorm. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's no wonder he likes to stay there, because it's like Chicago, like it's the real Chicago.
It's the old Hilton that's on on Michigan.
On Michigan Avenue, totally
yeah.
on Michigan Avenue, and that restaurant, it's like attached to it. It's got like some Irish name, Mrs. O'Shea's bourbon whiskey place or whatever it's called. Like we had to go in there because it was Christmas and there was nothing open. McDonald's weren't even open, right? We were driving around the town. Chinatown was open though.
Chinatown was hopping.
Oh my God.
It was amazing. And we got Chinese food. We got Chinese food from a great place.
Yeah, that was really good.
All vegetarian Chinese place.
Yeah. But anyway, so we stayed there, and then the next day we went. Was it the next day? Yeah. The next day we went and we watched Everything Everywhere All at Once in the morning when we woke up. That was neat.
We watched the Glass Onion Knives Out thing in the hotel.
Yeah.
That night, Christmas night.
And all the people who worked in the hotel were so nice too. They even I bought like a $20 little fake diamond R necklace from this crazy woman named Wanda. That was like it was like an old school. It was like the hotels that I remember when I was little,
And the fact that she had like you can still have a Chicago accent. I think that's fascinating that she had a Chicago accent, because I thought that was long gone.
Oh yeah, she this and that. She was saying, she's just, oh man, I loved it so much. So then the next morning we went to the Museum of Science and Industry because there was a Moldorama exhibit. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Well, if you don't know what Moldorama is, I don't know how to help you. I mean, you should go to a tourist trap. No, not a tourist trap. Where can you go? You can go to I know they have them at San Diego Zoo. Like, we've never gone to, like, with our kids, to the Henry Ford Museum. I went there a lot when I was a kid, even though Henry Ford was a monster. Mm-hmm. And the museum's a little weird because he kind of collected old buildings like the Wright brothers shop, and I think an Edison lab. I think he had there, like, he collected buildings and rebuilt them or put them on the museum grounds. He collected this vision of America, right?
Wow. Where is that museum located? It must be in Chicago.
Flint.
Oh, Flint, right? Michigan. Oh, you would
No, not Flint. That's where my great second cousin Jim Kerr lived. He lived in Flint. No, he lived in Flat Rock. It is in Flint. I believe it's in Flint. Yeah, but they're photos of me and my brother. We used to. I felt like we went there a lot. We probably went there 2 or 3 times. It's pretty. Well, now that our kids are older, it's not so great. But they have a Moldorama there too. I'm getting off topic. Moldorama. Basically, what it is plastic injection molding, but you can watch the process. So, as a child, going to the Museum of Science and Industry, they'd have these Moldorama machines around the museum, and also the Field Museum. So it was a Chicago-based company, And so, and the Brookfield Zoo had them. So basically a part of my childhood. And I believe there was a wombat. We need to go back to the Brookfield Zoo to get my family, I think Jim, my brother, had a wombat from the Brookfield Zoo. So anyways, they were plastic injection mold machines, but you could watch them. So basically the two halves of the mold would come together. You didn't see much. It was just like this machinery.
I realized that.
And
like,
and it would pour molten plastic in there, and you'd get this beautiful smell of molten plastic from it. It was covered and everything like that, and then it would drop. Then the molds, two halves of the molds would open up and then drop into a chute.
No, a little spatula would come out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you have if you want to see it, watch Rick's our 0 Stars movie, which is on YouTube. Right?
Yeah, there's a scene with Jim going around the Field Museum getting all the Mold-O-Ramas, which I believe are the ones we have here. So what I can't... Oh, the Air and Space Museum had one, right? We got a space shuttle. I don't know where the space shuttle is.
I think... So I was up in Dow's room, and there's a dinosaur up there, and so the space shuttle.
He said he didn't have the space shuttle. Maybe Bag Boy has the space shuttle.
Possible.
Squirreled away somewhere. Anyways, so plastic injection mold machines from our childhood, right? And you'd have to beg your parents to give you $1 to get at least one. So you'd get a dolphin at the Brookfield Zoo. You'd get a T-Rex at the at the Field Museum. What would you get at the Museum of Science and Industry?
A robot?
No. I don't believe the robot, which we just got this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't think that was there. Maybe it was, but I remember getting, I think the railroad train or something like that was pretty common. Or maybe it was just a lump of coal, like a black injection mold of a lump of coal.
But you would know what you were getting. Like there's like in the Mold-O-Rama machine, there's like a picture of what you were. There was a display of what you were getting. Yeah. So it was filled with like a bunch of people like you.
So the Museum of Science and Industry, yeah, that was the thing. Is like tons of people just like cruising through the exhibit, and then a bunch of 50-something-year-old men with beards, wandering around looking at the displays for these Mold-O-Rama things. We got a robot.
April Smith says, Chicago-style pizza, and then sorry for the meat reference, but I had the best roast beef sandwich ever at a Jewish delicatessen in Chicago. I won't fly off the handle for somebody apologizing about meat, April, since it's you, but...
And there is a company in Chicago that's making vegan Italian beef, right? And Portillo's, which I mispronounced that intentionally.
They have fake hot dogs
now.
They
have fake hot dogs now, so we might have to get in line.
Same.
Get in line and let those poor people who stand outside in the freezing cold taking your order.
No, we have to go to it.
Well, like go inside?
Yeah,
what?
It was full.
Do people go inside Portillo's?
We were in Portillo's. We had a family argument, but we were in there. It's very highly decorated.
Yeah.
April,
so you say Portillo's and then you say Chipotle, right?
April, you can talk about beef and meat anytime you want in front of us. We don't care. Right?
I care.
He doesn't. We don't care. Couldn't care less.
So what do we get? We got a Mold-O-Rama Christmas tree.
Yeah, a Santa Claus, a robot.
I don't know if it's just for the exhibit, but now they're $5 a pop.
Yeah,
it's pretty inflation, man. And on top of it, it's plastic, so I have the same kind of conflict. It's not much of a conflict because I bought 5 Mold-O-Ramas over the weekend.
Yeah, I think 6.
I think it was just 5.
Okay.
I did not buy the little angel ornament, but I did buy a Santa and a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Mutiny on the Bounty boat, which that's the weirdest one. I'm not sure why they were.
And a
monorail?
They
just had that. Oh yeah, the monorail from the Seattle World's Fair. They had that. I had to buy that. A oddly shaped phallic monorail on top of I was trying to figure out, is this something like, it looked like 3 columns, like a Roman ruin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Yeah.
It's a very weird Mold-O-Rama. Yeah, but it's plastic, so it's just like, it's the same problem I have when we make records, right? So we have 16 boxes of Flower Plower LPs in our basement right now.
Are they elevated?
They're not, but we will be elevating them if it rains.
Yeah.
The melt didn't cause any flooding. We don't usually have flooding. The flooding was because, I realize now the flooding was because the water went over the edge of the porch, kind of. We have almost like a root cellar, or I think it was where the coal would go. They'd store the coal underneath the porch, this big open area, and the water got in there. I don't think, but then it started coming up through the sewer too. That's right.
Are the flower flowers, are they they're in the sleeves already, right?
Yes.
Okay, but you went out and you got
Inserts.
Inserts, and so those need to be inserted.
Yeah, we're not going to ship them out yet. We're waiting on the books too.
I'm terrified of the idea of the books coming.
Yeah. Well, they'll be here sometime soon. I'm hoping. I think they said by January 15th, so we'll see.
I'm terrified that somebody's going to ask me for an interview, and then I'm going to be a bad interview.
Well, you should probably. You know what you need to listen to?
What?
You need to listen to Courtney Love on Mark Maron.
Okay, I will.
And then maybe.
And be just like her? She could be my influencer.
I would be.
Courtney Love. I wrote about her.
I would be half of what she is. Like if you could, you could somehow capture. It would be like capturing lightning in a bottle as opposed to nuclear fission.
Oh, good. I need to hear it. What about Gene Simmons on Fresh Air?
Definitely not a model for what you should be saying.
Okay.
No, he's not good. That you want to avoid that.
All right. Well, good. Well, there's 4 minutes left.
Yeah, there's 4 minutes left, and I've got to go watch the last. I believe. I hope this is true. I don't. Not that I hope it's true. That I made a note that Judy Woodruff's last day on the PBS NewsHour is today.
Oh, does it start at 5?
Yeah, it starts at 5, but they won't do any kind of blubbery retrospective right until the end, right?
Probably not. Yeah, they'll
and they may not do anything. She might just say, "Okay, see ya, bye." But the thing is I haven't been. Realized I started watching the NewsHour again regularly during the pandemic, but I've fallen off again. I don't need to have a daily update.
Well, you're going to be updated on.
Going to learn about the guy
Trump's.
I'm going to get tax returns. What am I going to get today? It's a full news day, right?
Yeah.
And
so
she's going to be
Trump's
happy to leave, right?
Yeah.
Trump's tax
returns, like
Mr. Stabby, the guy who stabbed all the people in Moscow, Iowa.
Oh yeah,
Idaho.
Idaho.
That's what we call anywhere
Andrew
west
Tate.
of Andrew Tate. Maybe
they're
not.
going to mention.
I don't think they'll mention him.
Maybe not. Okay.
I feel like he's not NewsHour worthy, but
right.
Maybe he is. Maybe I don't.
Pele.
They
We'll
will talk about Pele. Oh, that'll be
They'll
nice.
Definitely talk about Pele.
So first, I'm trying to think. I mean, I knew sports a little bit. I'm trying to think like Hank Aaron. I'm trying to think around when I was a little kid, who were the sports people I knew? Muhammad Ali, Hank Aaron, Evel Knievel, of course.
Oh yeah, Babe Ruth.
Does he count as no? Well, I knew who Babe Ruth, but he wasn't.
I read a book about
active.
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth wasn't active. He was like a legend. I believe
Babe
Ruth was dead. And then I realized, Joe DiMaggio, I knew who he was, but not because he was a baseball player. Oh, it was because he was in the Simon and Garfunkel song. I had Simon and Garfunkel's greatest hits, so I knew who Joe DiMaggio was. And he was also on Mr. Coffee commercials. I was just thinking about that today. I don't know why, but it was like, why? Like, think about how weird that was. Like Joe DiMaggio, very famous to old people. I guess that was because it was coffee, right? Mr. Coffee.
Sure.
Like, who's going to be who would be a good spokesman for Mr. Coffee? Coffee machines is Joe DiMaggio. So that's how I knew who Joe DiMaggio was. But yeah, so it was definitely Pele was like one of the few sports stars that I knew of when I was a little kid.
I watched a documentary on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard a little bit. Yeah, they're definitely going to talk about him. Will they talk about Vivienne Westwood?
It's possible.
I don't think they would have had enough time to gather information about her.
It'll be interesting. She might be on the weekend.
Yeah.
Because, but yeah, I mean, she was a major force in British fashion, long after the punk rock era. It's an interesting story. So, yeah, I bet they will. Maybe they will talk about her.
Maybe not today. Maybe they'll
today.
do, because they'll do a bigger retrospective on her. Okay. Are good. Oh, I can talk in the last minute. I was going to talk about the Clone Wars. I'm on season 3, But there's a list. So there's a list of how you need to watch them. You can't just watch season 1 and then all of season 2 and then all of season 3 and so on. You can't watch them like that. You have to. There's a list and they jump back and forth. It's the weirdest thing. So I'm in the middle of it. I think I've maybe watched half of them now, and so I'm like kind of bouncing around season 3. I'm just trying to figure out like it's intense. It's intense. I'm really like, I hate children's shows, but it's kind of intense and kind of explains like what happens before, the movie that you like, Star Wars. It's really intense. What's his ass? The bad guy is not the bad guy yet. He's the head of the Senate. They're like, so there's the separatists and the Republic. So the Republic are like the good guys, and then the separatists are the bad guys, and the Republic have the Jedi and the clones, right? The Republic have clone armies and stuff like that. All like, it looks like older versions of the stormtroopers, and those are the clones. But they're like good guys. And then something's going to happen, and I don't know what it is, because no spoilers for me. Something's going to happen, and all of a sudden, like, the Republic is going to turn into the rebels, and the separatists are going to turn into the Empire.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, it's like the Republicans becoming Democrats and stuff, like in our history. And I know you're trying to get me to read up on Japanese history.
Yeah, I would love to. I don't want to spend the time, but if you're interested, yeah, you should probably start reading about feudal Japan and try to figure out what they've stolen from it.
I know, but I don't have like a history brain. I don't have that.
You're going through this ridiculous Star Wars history.
I know, but I can barely articulate what I'm watching. Like, okay. I can't, like, I seriously, like, it's weird, man. I don't have that. Like, I can learn languages and I can, like, memorize numbers and stuff, but it's hard for me to comprehend history. I don't know why.
Well, it's because it's his story.
That's right. It's not her story.
Right. You need to brush up on your her story.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure the women in Japan during the feudal era have a lot of interesting stories.